Eating too much salt. Symptoms, side effects, benefits. What is sodium chloride? It is not just yesterday or today that salt has become a public enemy and people are talking about cutting back on their consumption. If you look at TV, newspapers, and health-related publications, all you can see about salt is don't consume it. Starting with elevated blood pressure, salt is harmful to the body. Is this to say you shouldn't eat salt? That, of course, is not the case. Salt is a valuable resource that is inextricably linked to human existence in many ways, including dietary life. Since ancient times, salt has played a vital role after wheat and rice, and the Bible's expression "you are the salt of the earth" implies that salt is the substance of life and matter. Salt is a nutrient that flavoring various foods with changes the taste of food and preserves the nutrition of the human body. Furthermore, it is a natural preservative that keeps the body from rotting by preserving blood salinity. And it is an essential element in the human body as a catalyst that stimulates blood flow improvement. Let's look at salt, which is poison if you eat it without knowing it, but medicine if you know what it is. And before we start, smash that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. 1. NaCl stands for salt. Salt is sodium chloride, NaCl, a chemical compound composed of sodium, Na, and chlorine, Cl, ions. Both elements are necessary for our bodies. Salty food is delicious and appealing because salt, which provides the salty flavor, is required for our bodies. Sodium ions, Na+, are responsible for the salty flavor. Salt has no taste because it is a combination of sodium and chlorine. Nevertheless, when salt is dissolved in water or saliva and divided into sodium ions and chlorine ions, the taste buds on the tongue detect the sodium ions and experience the salty taste. Taste buds are a collection of microcells on the tongue that act as sensors to allow us to taste. Sodium aids in the balance of electrolytes in our bodies. Each person's blood type is unique, but the salt concentration in bodily fluid is 0.9%, which is the same for everyone. This is due to the fact that everybody's cellular activities are intended to function normally at this concentration. If sodium intake is insufficient, the concentration of body fluids thins, the electrolyte balance is disrupted, and death from electrolyte shock occurs. Sodium can also function as a neurotransmitter. In short, sodium is a necessary component of our bodies. Gastric juice is produced using chlorine. The primary component of gastric juice is hydrochloric acid, HCl, which is known for its high acidity. Gastric juice destroys bacteria and viruses in our meals and breaks down proteins. Salt is necessary for our bodies, but if we take too much salt at once, our bodies engage a defense mechanism to maintain electrolyte balance. For example, swallowing salty seawater causes thirst, which causes you to consume fresh water, lowering the concentration of electrolytes in your body. If you consume too much salt in a short period of time, it might trigger vomiting and hinder the body from absorbing it. This is why, in folk medicines, people purposely ingest a spoonful of salt when they have an upset stomach. A high salt diet, which can cause diabetes, obesity, cataracts, osteoporosis, high blood pressure, and stroke if ingested over an extended period of time, can be averted by our body's clever defensive mechanism. It can only be avoided by making improvements. The World Health Organization (WHO) recommends consuming fewer than 5 g of salt per day. However, because the average daily salt intake exceeds 10 grams, experts recommend a low salt diet to limit the quantity of salt consumed. 2. Sodium chloride with a purity of 99% or higher is a hazardous chemical, not a food product. The sea is the origin of all life, and single-celled organisms born in the sea have evolved into their current form over 3 billion years. Sea organisms evolved into vertebrates and migrated to land, yet they still have a connection to the sea, their ancestral habitat. The blood is proof of this. The components of amniotic fluid, bodily fluids, and serum are the same as those of salt water, except that the concentration in humans is lower, 0.9% against 3.5% in seawater. To recapitulate the role of salt in our bodies, it promotes metabolism. It aids in the decomposition and digestion of food, the regulation of body fluid osmotic pressure, the release of waste materials, muscular relaxation and contraction, nerve excitement transmission, detoxification of hazardous compounds, and the rise of body temperature. Furthermore, there are rare tumors in salty regions of the body, primarily the heart and duodenum. 3. There are various kinds of table salt. There is sea salt, which is produced by evaporating seawater with solar heat, re-salt, which is produced from white salt by adding sea salt to boiling water and removing impurities, processed salt, which is produced by roasting or burning raw salt, and mechanical salt, which is produced by chemically reacting sodium or chlorine using an ion exchange method. Needless to say, bay salt is the greatest salt for the body in this situation. Mechanical salt, on the other hand, is 99% pure sodium chloride crystals with no organic minerals, hence it is better described as a chemical rather than a meal. Sodium chloride is harmful on its own, but when it is mixed with minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and potassium in a natural form, such as bay salt, the toxicity fades and it becomes weak. Dr. Esslinger of England saw the opposing functions of mechanical salt and bay salt in a frog experiment and developed Ringer's injection, a physiological saline solution, which demonstrated the dangers of mechanical inflammation. As a result, sea salt and mechanical salt have opposite effects, with one saving people and the other killing them. However, it is often assumed that all salt is harmful to the body, so it is critical to fix these as quickly as possible. 4. What form of salt is beneficial to your health? Before answering the question, which salt is good for the body, it is necessary to explain why we take salt. We eat salt for two reasons. First, to get sodium and chlorine, which our bodies require, and second, because it tastes nice. Even though we know in our heads that eating a lot of salt is bad for our health, our hands always go toward salty foods. Is there perhaps a salt that is better for the body than bay salt, refined salt, and re-salt? Because re-salted and refined salt are both almost pure salt, sodium chloride, they might be considered the same substance with a different technique of production. The minerals included in bay salt are said to be better for the body than re-salted or refined salt. Minerals are metal cations that form minerals, such as potassium and magnesium. It is also true that the minerals found in bay salt are vital building blocks for our bodies. The issue is the maturing process that bay salt must go through before it can be used. The purpose for going through the aging process, often known as removing the bittern, is straightforward. This is due to the fact that sea salt without bittern is bitter and unpalatable. Some people believe that because bay salt is less salty than re-salted or refined salt, it is safe to ingest. This is not true. In comparison to remanufactured or refined salt, which contains 98 to 99% salt, sodium chloride, bay salt contains 10 to 20% water. This is why sea salt has a lower salt content than other salts. Experts point out, however, that the amount of sodium consumed is the same in the end since a bigger amount of sea salt is required to regulate the liver to the optimum level. Experts agree that there is no salt that is particularly beneficial to the body because the purpose of salt is to ingest the necessary quantity of sodium and chlorine while also enjoying the salty taste. Even France's famous Guérin salt is expensive because of its historical and cultural significance, not because it is healthier for the body. Additionally, let us study some general facts about salt that everyone is curious about. 5. Is it possible to limit your salt intake while yet enjoying the salty taste? If you eat salt blended with potassium chloride, KCl, instead of pure sodium chloride salt, you can lower your sodium intake, said a senior researcher at the Food Research Institute. Potassium ions can also provide a salty taste comparable to sodium ions, researcher explained, adding, it is the same rationale as ingesting cola blended with artificial sweeteners that have no calories but taste sweet to limit sugar intake. 6. Pink salt in Senegal, black salt in Hawaii. Pure salt, sodium chloride, is white, however depending on where it is made, it might be a different hue. Bamboo salt is gray, and salt made in Hawaii is black, coupled with black sand found in volcanic soil. Pink salt comes from Lake Retba, a salt lake northeast of Dakar, Senegal's capital. The red algae becomes entangled between the white salt crystals, and the colors combine to form a delicate pink tint. Green salt can be generated by combining green algae with red algae. In some circumstances, salt has a color even when it is not mixed with impurities. Blue salt is formed when sodium is lost between the crystal structures of sodium ions and chlorine ions and electrons enter. Red salt is formed when an iron ion enters instead of an electron filling the vacancy. 7. Why do we salt fish before grilling it? Fish contain approximately 20 to 25% of muscle proteins such as actin, myosin, and myogen. The muscle fiber of the protein that makes up fish muscle is thick and short, not lengthy like flesh, and the connective tissue between the muscle and the bone is soft. The more mussels that are utilized, the more the organization grows, but because fish live with their weight in water, they do not need to employ a lot of muscle strength, so they have soft tissues. Like a result, you can eat fish meat as soft sashimi. Fish is best cooked for a short length of time due to these features. Because heat quickly decomposes the small muscle fibers, the fish is overdone or the fish meat is easily broken. When fish is heated, the muscle protein coagulates and contracts, resulting in hard flesh. Actin and myosin coagulate/contract at 45 degrees Celsius, and myogen at 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, and salt aids this reaction. In other words, salt not only adjusts the flavor but also aids in protein coagulation. Protein solubility is affected by salt concentration, and the right quantity of salt sprinkled over fish reduces protein solubility and causes it to coagulate. As a result, when salt is sprinkled on the surface of the fish and it is grilled or cooked, the protein coagulates and shrinks quickly, preventing juice from escaping, improving the taste and preserving the shape. Salt is considered to improve the flavor and appearance of fish dishes. 8. Uncomfortable is hardened salt. How can I prevent it from hardening? Even as salt solidifies, its composition remains same. When it has hardened, you may either dry it in the sun for 3 to 4 hours or lightly fry it. You can pre-fill the jar with roasted rice grains or a desiccant. Before concluding, if you like this video, don't forget hit that like button, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this in the future. Also, be sure to turn on the bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. Salt is necessary for humans, but ingesting too much of it is harmful. It's due to the sodium. Excess salt consumption has been linked to high blood pressure, edema, and cardiovascular disease. If you are concerned about the toxicity of salt, there is a simple answer. It is to eat less natural salt and bay salt. To address the issue of excessive sodium consumption, it appears preferable to consume enough potassium-rich vegetables or fruits rather than artificially low sodium salt. So, what do you think about this topic? Let us know what you think in the comments section.